We have a very touching story to talk about here on our show, something that I hope will make you more aware of how fragile life can be. It's about a woman and her daughter, and the daughter developed cancer, and we'll tell you what you can do to help this situation should it ever happen in your house. Right back in a moment. Well, our next guest has been traveling around the country for the past 5 years, lecturing about cancer prevention through education, awareness, and action. Patty Stewing has a very personal reason for doing this. Her daughter, Amber, died of cancer at the age of 4. She's here today to discuss some of the ways her daughter's illness could have been more accurately diagnosed and some methods of prevention and some alternative treatments which are available today. It's nice to have you here on the show, Patty. Thank you for joining us. You now live up in Connecticut, huh?
Yes.
Well, tell us Amber's story. And incidentally, as she is telling the story, we have some pictures, which I should warn you, I guess, can be quite provocative. But we're telling you this because they are part of this story, and showing you the pictures as well. So, Amber.
Well, I discovered a small lump behind Amber's ear when she was 3.5. My first thought was cancer. I don't know why, but I just thought cancer. So I spent the next 6 months traveling around the state of Connecticut and trying to convince the doctors to biopsy. When it was finally, when she was admitted into the hospital, it was about the size of my fist. And they were still saying, no, it couldn't possibly be cancer. And 3 days later, when the results came back from pathology, it was cancer, and it was in the 3rd stage.
What were their reasons for not diagnosing this, especially when you requested?
I have no idea. I really haven't had the time to investigate Amber's particular situation. I've been so busy investigating cancer on the whole.
But how many doctors did you see and ask to have this thing biopsied?
7.
Oh, my Lord.
And every one of them turned you down?
Yes.
That's
And
just... I don't know. I didn't know they could turn you down. I mean, if you say, I want a biopsy,
Well,
don't
they were
have to...
afraid that the complications from the anesthesia might be worse than letting it grow, I guess. They said that it wasn't cancer, so...
Well, she fell, didn't she? And then that doubled the size of the lump.
And,
what did they say about that?
Well, they basically... Yeah, right here you'll see that she... this was after we decided on treatment down in the Bahamas. After they said it couldn't possibly be cancer, and it was hard for me to subject her to chemotherapy and radiation. But she did have radiation because I didn't want to just do nothing. And she lost her hair as a result from that. But we ended up going down to the Bahamas, getting treatment from Dr. Lawrence Burton, which I felt worked, but the cancer that she had was such an late stage and so rapidly developing that it was pretty hard to save her. In September, we came home, in 1980, September, we came home and decided just to, as a last-ditch effort, try to save her. And we decided that it was too late, and we basically just lived the rest of her life. Here it's about 2 weeks before she died. Basically, she didn't really want to eat or anything. She just was sucking on Pepsi. This is a very, very graphic picture of cancer, but one of the reasons I documented Amber's situation was because most people that have cancer, it's inside their bodies and you don't see it. And I felt if people saw cancer, that perhaps they could feel
After they biopsied, did they operate and remove it?
Yes, they did remove it. Well, they removed it and biopsied it at the same time.
But it grew back, obviously.
Yes, a metastasis. She had cancer nowhere else in her body.
Do you feel that if they had biopsied it when you asked them to, you could have saved Amber's life?
Oh, that's a touchy question because I don't really like to live in the past in that sense. I just try to concentrate my efforts on trying to stop it from happening to others.
But the whole point is early detection of cancer.
I could say yes, but some books say yes, some books say no. I've done research on both.
What would you do now with the knowledge that you now have, maybe you didn't do before?
I would explore worldwide cancer therapies. There is a directory available that gives these therapies. I found it through research in the library. I would definitely explore all the different cancer therapies in the world. One of my goals is to start a computer bank and feed all the information from these different cancer therapies into this computer bank and have it analyzed by an objective, non-political panel to see exactly where we are with cancer therapy.
I'm also sure you would have insisted on that biopsy to begin with.
I did insist, but
doctors
said things like, oh, look at her, she's perfectly healthy.
But see, that's what you want to hear too, isn't it?
Not really. I said to that, I said, well, I could look perfectly healthy and be dying inside. How can you say she looks perfectly healthy?
But wasn't your reaction unusual? For most of the time,
yes.
You want to hear the good news. You want to hear, oh, it's nothing.
Right.
What did they say it was?
Well, different diagnosis. One said it was a calcium deposit. Another said it was a variation of bone growth. Nobody could really explain it, but at the same time, they just...
That's amazing.
Really
incredible.
7 doctors.
We'll take a break. We'll come back, and if you have a... We're with Patty Stewing this morning, a mother who lost a 4-year-old daughter who incidentally died on your birthday when she was 4 years of age. Patty is from Connecticut, devoting her life to cancer awareness. What do you think is the cause of cancer?
Well, after 5 years of research, many books point to the cause as being environmental. One of the figures was from 70 to 90% of all cancers are caused by our environment. And that was shocking for me because I always thought that they were trying their best to cure cancer or to prevent cancer. But when I realized that if they knew what causes most of it, then that means they could prevent people from ever getting it.
But your little girl was only here 2.5 years before you detected something.
She was 3.5.
3.5, right.
Right.
Just a short period of time. And you think the environment caused her situation?
It's as good a guess as any. But my point is that so much is caused by the environment, and I had that question, well, why aren't they doing anything? Now, me above anyone else, because my daughter died from cancer, didn't really want to believe that the reason that cancer exists as it does in America today was money. So I didn't really want to believe that, but the more research I did, the more it points to money.
The lobbies, you mean, in Washington?
Not only the lobbies, but the industry, the government, the FDA, I mean, everyone is involved in one way or another.
You mean they're making money on cancer?
Exactly.
Is that what you really think?
I don't want to, but I do. I mean, I'm just telling you the facts as I have researched them.
But why? What gives you that feeling?
Why? Well, a book called The Politics of Cancer, which was written by Samuel Epstein, can give you a lot of answers to that question. The Cancer Syndrome by Ralph Moss is another book. If you go to your library and you look up cancer and environment in the subject index and go to that section of the library, you would be surprised at what you'd find.
Did your daughter know she had cancer?
Yes.
Did you talk to her about it?
Yes, I documented her experience because I did want to help others, and I've since written a book about her experience. And because cancer is the second leading cause of death in children, I did want to document that so she could help other kids. She did know she was going to die, and most kids do.
How did she feel about that?
Well, when I asked her, you know, how she felt about having cancer, she basically said, well, I just don't want anybody else to get it. You know, so, you know, another thing that she said that kind of drives me on is about 2 weeks before she died, right out in the blue, she just said to me, Mom, I know I'm here to help a lot of people. And I thought, I didn't really know it, but I kind of knew at the time.
All right, let's go to the audience and see what questions you have. Good morning, you're on the morning show. Yes?
Hi, I just wanted to find out, how long did it take before, when you found the lump, how long was it the period between the time you found the lump and the time she died?
I found the lump in August of '79, and she died October 30th, 1980. So it was about 14 months from one end to the other.
And when did you notice the lump the first time?
I was putting her to bed. It was an August evening. It was hot, and I was just stroking her head, just loving her. And she was so perfect physically and spiritually as well. And when I stroked her hair, I found this lump, and I pulled her hair back and thought, oh, my God, cancer. And I just knew how to spell the word. I didn't even know kids got cancer.
Yeah.
So through my own experience, I've done the research.
You had an intuitive feeling it was cancer right off the bat.
Right.
That's so unusual, I think, because most time you would think, you know, she fell down, she hit her head or something.
Right. But I think it's actually more common than we really realize.
If you'd like more information on this story and what Patty has uncovered in her 5-year odyssey about this, if you could write to Amber's Life, Box 505, Milford, Connecticut, 06460. And we'll be back, and I thank you very much, Patty, for being with us today.
Thank you.